to my studio. It's Stamp with Anita. Anita Haynes here, and tonight I'm going to be sharing the second card in the 4 cards that we did for my Christmas card Stamp-A-Stack. And I love this. I don't know which card's my favorite. I think they're all my favorite when I'm actually working on them. So anyway, this is the card that I'm going to be sharing. Beautiful. Peace on earth. I think I put on the comments earlier. Who could use a little peace on earth right now? I love this. All the blues. Monochromatic, meaning all one color family. So all in the blues. And it's just so beautiful. Lots of fun texture and some glimmer. So I want to share that with you tonight. So last night, if you were here, I shared this card. And if you missed that, go back. You can still go back and watch it here on my Stamp with Anita Facebook. The lives disappear after 30 days, so I also upload them onto YouTube, and I actually already put the link for that. So you can catch it over on my YouTube channel, which is another reminder. If you haven't been over to my YouTube channel, be sure to go check that out. I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel if you like what you see, and share it with friends. That would help me, and it's just fun to have interaction, comments here or there. I would love it. So okay, I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is go ahead and flip the camera around down to my desk so that we can go ahead and get started stamping. There we go. Let me set this aside real quick. So this is the card. Try to show it to you up close. Look at all that fun. We've got a fun folder in the background. This is all from the Peaceful Garden Suite. The paper, it's also got this fun glimmer paper, die cuts, ribbon. Just lovely. And then the inside, I'll show you real quick. And I'm going to share a technique about the burnishing on there. So this comes out of, again, our current mini catalog. This is still available. I do have a few copies of this left, but you can also catch it online. Again, this is featuring the Peaceful Garden Suite. And what I love about this suite is it can be used all year long, not just for Christmas. And I'm going to share all these pieces and parts with you. But I love our idea book and catalog because it really does give you lots of fun ideas. This one's just a frame, you know, a home decor piece. This one as well, or for gifting. But so let me share. This suite includes a bundle that has the, trying to see if I can get rid of some of this glare, probably not, this Peace on Earth stamp set. And see what I mean when I say, yeah, Peace on Earth, you know, peace, love, joy are for, you know, Christmas, but there's big hugs for a good friend, with deepest sympathy, heartfelt prayers, all the best on your new adventure. So just a really good versatile set. And then also the dies, coordinating dies. So we've got these lovely doves, and then die cuts here, and these little branches. There's little stars. I just love it. So that's the bundle. I have a little note on here. We're expected to have this back in stock, so just in time still for the holidays to get that. Okay, let me set that aside and show you the paper that coordinates with it. I've used a lot of this pack, as you can see, but just beautiful blues and neutrals. This backside is like a crumb cake. Look at that. That would even be pretty for spring. Even these could be masculine cards. This side right here is just almost like a brush. I just love all the beautiful watercolors. Like I said, I've used and abused this. I don't have very much pieces of this left. And some of the pieces are probably gone, but I wanted to share at least bits and pieces of that with you. The other thing that is part of this suite that's wonderful is this glimmer paper. And what are they calling this? Literally, they're just calling it the Peaceful Garden glimmer paper, 12 by 12. And you get 6 sheets of this. So you're going to get 2 of 3 different colors. So you've got this, it probably on camera this looks silver, but it almost in person has a little bit of a blue tint to it. Maybe that's just my eyes playing tricks on me. And then we also have this dark, it's kind of showing up, at least in my camera, purple, but it's not. It's a blue. And then the lighter, or I guess medium blue. But it's so fun. So fun. For obviously Christmas, it would be awesome to use, but just, and also any other time if you wanted to add some extra bling to something. Another part of this suite is this folder. I think I showed on the card. It shows up a little bit better there. I don't know if you can see that. Actually, you know what, if I put it like this. So it's got like a flat part in the middle, and that's where those dies would layer inside of there. So that's part of it. Another part of it is, of course, ribbon. I love this. Blingy ribbon. It's so pretty. Easy to tie, though. I love this. We're going to be using that on our card today. And then the other piece that's in this suite are these embellishments. These are called Hues of Blue Flowers, and they're self-adhesive. They're pretty flat, so they don't add a lot of bulk to your project, or whether it's card or scrapbook page or home decor, but really fun. Kind of whites, lighter blues, and going into the deeper blues. The base of this card I used our Secret Sea, one of our new colors. Absolutely love that. That's part of what all the pieces and parts that are in the suite. And then in addition to that, I think I shared this yesterday, that we have these awesome workshop or scrapbooking kits. And I'm not going to pull everything out of this because I already took all the die cuts and everything and pulled them apart, but this one coordinates with that Peaceful Garden suite. And this one's called Peaceful Days, but look at this. It's just so pretty. These colors and the layout. So this is a 2-page spread. You get 3 2-page spreads. This is a 2-page spread, etc. here. Again, as a reminder, it tells you how to cut each piece because it comes 12 by 12. And like I said, I already went in and cut all mine so I could have it ready to do. And then it tells you the pieces and parts of how to put it together. And again, you can do what you want, but this is a great guide. I just love it. Love the colors. So I can't wait to play with this. And then the scrapbook kit always has a coordinating stamp set to go with it, which is more focused to scrapbooking and memory making versus what you would normally see for just card making. I'm trying to move some of this light so I don't get so much of a glare, but... So really fun images, bigger images and things, again, that you would use for memory making. And this, the scrapbooking kit and that add-on stamp set are sold separate. So, but I just kind of stuck them in here so I have them all together. But I had to share that with you because I, again, just loving these scrapbooking kits. This is the card, again, that we're going to be making. Beautiful Christmas card. And I'm going to go ahead and pull over my packet. I'm going to set that there as a reminder of how to do this. And I've got all my pieces and parts, some of which I've already kind of done. So there's my envelope. And here is that die cut piece. And again, that came out of the dies that coordinate with this. I've already, well, let's start with the base. I've got base, and my base is, I don't know if I need to move this up so you guys can see better. Hopefully that's all in the frame. This is the Secret Sea cardstock, and it's just my typical card size where I cut a sheet of 8.5 by 11 in half and then score it in half at 4 4/4. Fold that in half, and then that's going to give me my card base of 4 1/4 by 5.5 is my card base. Love this Secret Sea, and it works really well with this is Misty Moonlight, and I already ran that through the folder. Isn't that beautiful? It gives that nice flat part in the middle there. This is going to end up getting layered, but I also cut out a piece of 1 inch by 4 inch of the DSP. I I could use either side, but I really love this side, that watercolor. I used my ribbon and I went ahead and tied the bow so I wouldn't have to do that on camera. I cut out 2 of the doves that came out of the coordinating dies, and I did go ahead and assemble like this little twig that's in here. I cut out of the Secret Sea, and I cut some twine, so I went ahead and just stuck that on there with a glue dot so I'd have that ready. And I stuck a dimensional on the back. So that's ready. And then this was also a piece cut out of, there's 2 different dies in there, they layer, and this one was cut out of the smaller label, and then I only needed part of it. So, and that's out of the lightest sheet of the glimmer paper that coordinates with this. And then I have this for the inside. That's going to layer on the inside, and this is just 4 by 5 1/4, so it's the same size as what I have on the outside. So let's get started. All right, first off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share how I did my coloring on here. I'll move some of these pieces out of the way. We need these 2 pieces, and I'm going to use a blue, balmy blue specifically for this. We're going to open this up. I'm going to move this card out of the way so I don't get ink anywhere. And then I'm using a couple of our blender brushes, okay? These are just brushes. You might even have makeup brushes that look like this, but they're like tiny little bristles in here. And they wash up really well, and I love using them for something like this. It's like I got something on there, so I'm going to use this side. But I'm going to take and apply some color onto the brush, and then whenever I'm doing something like this, I always start off of the piece that I want to do this on and then work my way on. And I like to start with light and then just keep adding and building color. And the reason you want to start off and go on, see how I've got like a kind of like a blob there, and you don't want that. Although some of the girls did do that in class, and to be honest, it did look really fun because it looked like clouds that were kind of, you know, different colors. So that is an option. But if you want that smooth, always start off and don't lift the brush or put it back down while you're on here. I'm kind of coming in here at an angle. My pad might actually be a little dried up after class. But it's better to do layers, lightly. I'm not really pushing down that hard. I'm just kind of burnishing it lightly. But it's easier to do that and build up the color than try to start dark, because you can't take the ink away. Like, you're not going to be able to do that. So it's better to start light and build the color down. This piece that I'm working on right now is actually the inside of the card. So, but the technique is going to be the same. So see how that's just kind of modeled in there. Hopefully you can see that through the camera lens. All right, and then I'm also going to take the die, and I'm going to do the same thing. I just want like to do like the top half of this. And just work my way down again. I like to use the bigger brushes for bigger pieces. For a smaller piece, you could use a smaller brush. We have these come in like 2 different sizes. Looks like I got ink on my fingers and then got it on the thing. Hopefully won't make a big difference. All right, I think we're good with that. Okay, and then the other thing we can do is do the envelope. And to be honest, I already did that here. I burnished this envelope. And actually this dove, I cheated. This is a dove from an old retired set, but it worked perfectly with what we were doing here. So I dug that out for the front of the card. But you could just as easy, if you were just using this stamp set, you know, stamp the words Peace on Earth on there, or you could just do that. The other thing you could do actually is to take one of the doves and use as a mask and kind of burnish around it. I did that, so that's all the burnishing with the brush. So I'm going to set this aside. Let's see what we want to do next. Let's go ahead and put this away, since I already managed to get ink all over me. All right, and now we're going to pull out our Misty Moonlight. It's one of my favorite colors. I love all the blues, though. I'm a lover of the blues. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. Let's pull that in here. I'm going to ink this up. And, oops, kind of dropped it there. And, oh, I better put my readers on because I can't see. And sometimes when I'm using a white and it's layered on a white, I'll just do this. This is a foam pad under here. But see how now it's going to be so much easier to visually see the outline. This one probably not quite as critical as some stamps. But I'm going to go ahead and stamp that straight down, straight up. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this back over. Ta-da. All right, so I've got that done. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside. Now, I'm going to be gluing one of the doves down here. Where did I put that? Okay, here it is. So this dove is going to actually get glued up here, see, which is why we were burnishing. So it pops off of there nicely. You could go ahead and stamp, but this way it's done. And I'm actually just going to use our Tombow, the green multi-purpose, we call it the green glue. The glue's not green, but the packaging's green. You could use whatever adhesive you have. But, okay, so I just put a little bit of glue on the back of that. And then I'm going to just put it up here in this corner. And again, this is the inside of the card. I didn't want to pop it up in here because it looks like I need a little bit under that tail because it's the inside of the card, so I don't really want a whole lot of dimension to it. And then we're going to finish stamping. I'm going to take, this is all in that same set. This is Peace, Love, and Joy. I'm stamping with the Misty Moonlight. I think I'm in the camera there. Peace, Love, and Joy. Let's see if I can make sure I get this straight. Right in the center. And then right above that, I want to stamp Wishing You. Because I'm wishing you peace, love, and joy. This is hard to do through the camera here. So, wishing you peace, love, and joy. And then that's just going to get layered on the inside of my card. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oops. Like that. And then for the outside, this is simply going to get layered. It's a pretty quick and easy card once all the cutting and embossing is done, which I had already done for everybody. And then, so this piece, I'm just going to put it across here, just probably pretty much in the center there. Just gluing that straight down. And then this is just going to simply get layered right on top. Oops. Let's put another one right there. It's going to get layered right on top of there. And there's like a little, almost like a little lip. It just fits right in there perfectly. And then this piece right here is the layered label that's in that glimmer. Ah, it's just lovely. And it's going to layer inside of that. Oops. Looks like I'm a little crooked. There we go. And then I've got my dove, like I said, I've already die cut him out and the little sprig and tied a piece of twine into a bow. And I just stuck that on with a glue dot and I stuck a dimensional onto the back. I feel like dimensionals work the best on this glimmer because sometimes things have a hard time wanting to stick to it. So I'm going to position my dove on there. Press that down really well. And then to finish that off, I've got my bow that I've already tied and my glue dots. And Here we go. I'm going to tear that off so I don't have to search for the end of that again. And then my glue dot, just right here. It kind of covers up that little smudge I made earlier, so that's perfect. What's nice, even though there's a bow, it folds down relatively flat, which is really nice. So there is that card. We open it up, wishing you peace, love, and joy. And then if you would like, this is optional, but always fun, is you can never have too much glimmer, especially during the holidays. So I like to take our Wink of Stella. I use the clear. It's what we carry. You can add even a little bit more bling on here. So I'm just going to brush it. This has got like a brush tip on it. And I've already used it, so it's already primed and pumped and ready to go. But I'm just, probably would have been easier if I'd have added that before I put the bow and the twig on, but that's okay. We'll make it work. So I don't know if is the camera showing? Let me see. That, maybe, you can, yeah, right there. You can see that glimmer. I just love it. And I love it because it adds some sparkle, but it's not like glitter that's going to fall off and get all over the place. And sometimes you can just do a touch of it. This one I'm just kind of putting all over the white part of the dove. And I'm doing it here on the inside as well. And I'll hold this up and I think you'll be able to see that too. Look at that. So in person, it's just gorgeous. I just love it. So there's that card. That is the second card from my Christmas card Stamp-A-Stack of 2025. Let me put some of this out of the way. Yesterday was this one. And today was this one. So let me flip the camera back around so we can chat again a little more. Welcome back. How fun was that? I hope you enjoyed that. So again, here is the second card from the Christmas card Stamp-A-Stack. This one was fairly easy to put together. Obviously, I did all the prepping, so if you had to prep that yourself, there's a little bit of work, but fairly simple card. And you can also even simplify it, like you wouldn't have to add this bow. But I wanted to share, and I should have done this when I had the camera down. I wanted to share a couple other projects that we did actually at a Stampin' Up! Event using this suite. Since I already flipped the camera around, I won't take the time to re-flip it, but I will share these cards with you. But here's one that just shows a good example of how you can use it for a sympathy card, heartfelt prayers, and we just kind of pieced together different pieces. There's this piece right here is like part of the label that makes it look like a tag, and we did add the little gems on there. I didn't add the gems on the card that I did today. And then I die cut out of the dies. Where's the dies? I was going to show that. So see these dies right here? Die cut that piece out of a piece of cardstock, and it became a stencil. So then I used the brushes and made those images down there, which worked really well because they look very watercolory. Here's another one that's really fun. Simple, using, like, you literally could do this with any scrap DSP that you have. It's just little scraps. I don't even think they're an inch. They're like 3/4 of an inch by, maybe 3 inches long. They're kind of torn at the edges. So literally scraps that you could use. And that's a sympathy card. But I really like that. Oh, now I've got hiccups. And then I put that in the center. And again, I did the envelope that same way, making a stencil. And then this is kind of where I got the idea for the card that we did. So here's the card I did. This was the project we did at our event. But this was made out of a piece of, a bigger piece of DSP, and we actually made an envelope for it to go into. So it was using a lot of DSP. But it's a little different because this one, the bow's not just attached. Like this literally is the same as what I did, but I just glued the bow on. But in the class, we did it differently. This untied, and this opens up, and then folds down, and then you have your message on the inside. So a little more cumbersome, but really sweet project. And then one of the other things we did with this same suite was we made this cute little box. How fun is that? You could put chocolates in there, or I don't know, there's some little things you could put in there, jewelry or a little note. I don't think a gift card would fit. Money would fit in there. Money's always good, right? But we cut that die out of that glimmer paper. So this is just fun. Big hugs for a good friend. I guess little Hershey hugs would work really well in there. That's what I would put in there. So those are some of the projects. And actually we're going to be using some of this paper on the fourth card that I'll be sharing with you. And I'll give you a little sneak peek of that. That's this one. We'll do this in 2 days, but we use strips of that on the side there. So I'll share that in a couple of days. So thanks again for coming. This was yesterday, card number 1 out of 4. Today, card number 2. Come back tomorrow because I'm going to share card number 3. Really fun card. And then that little sneak peek that I gave you was card number 4, and I'll share that. And then also, I had given them a little Santa treat, this little guy, and I'll share how to do that on Friday. So here's the deal. If you missed out on my class, no worries. A way that you can get my card kits, so that would just be the cards prepped, just like when I showed you at the beginning, that they'll be cut and prepped for you, but it would only be one of each card. So anybody that places a $50 order on my Stampin' Up! Website from yesterday through Sunday, then I'll send you these 4 make and takes. Now, it's going to include everything cut. I'll be cutting out the tags, you know, that kind of thing. I'll run things through the folders so that that's done for you. What it will not include is anything that's stamped. It won't include the stamp sets that I'm using or anything like that, or inks. So you'll have to provide that. You may have some of these sets. You could even use maybe a different set, especially for this, because you're going to have everything except this. You're not going to have this embossed. You're not going to have that stamp set. If you have this stamp set, you can use that, or you could use any sentiment that you have for this card. So, and obviously the inside same, you could use any sentiment that you have. So even if you don't have all the, you know, the stamp sets or the bundles, you'll be able to make something with these projects. Like the last card, for example, this one, if you don't have this stamp set, this is a great one too. I'll be sharing that. But I'm sure you have a nativity set. So anyway, or maybe a snowman set. It doesn't have to be a nativity set. It could be a cute little snowman or penguin set, whatever you'd like for that. So that's what I have for you tonight. So thanks for popping in and spend a little bit of time with me tonight. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. And I will talk to you. I will be back here tomorrow. I'll be sharing some joy with you tomorrow. So come back and see me. I'll talk to you ladies later. Bye-bye.